Hey, what is up guys, this is the Dino Gamer back in another video. Today I'm here with another Jurassic World Evolution discussion video, and today we're going to be discussing something that might be a little bit clickbaitish kind of thing because all this looks very realistic, but I just want to be clear right now. None of this is actually, something that Frontier made. All of this that I'm about to show you now has been made by a fan and was uploaded on Steam, and that's where I found it. I actually got all the information from this channel called Swerve. If you guys don't know who he is, he pretty much posts a bunch of Jurassic World Evolution content on his channel. So if you guys want to go check him out, I will link his channel in the description down below. But just know I got all this information from him, and this information came from Steam under the username Hykelion, or at least I think that's how you say it. I could have totally said that wrong or butchered it. But anyways, this guy made some concept art on basically what certain things would look like if we actually had like an aquatic DLC or mode into the Jurassic World Evolution game. And basically some of this stuff includes stuff like the incubation center, some fencing, ranger teams, and pretty much everything else Frontier gave us for the surface as far as enclosures and operations go. This guy pretty much made an underwater version of all that. And I'm very surprised because technically this is not really new. This has been out since December of 2018. So it's been out for, like 6 months now, and it kind of fell under all our radars, or at least mine. I mean, other people probably saw this. I didn't. So it's just surprising to me how something this cool wasn't really noticed at all. But whatever the case, I feel like this is super underrated, which is why we're going to be taking a look at it today. If you guys want to check this out yourself, check out the Steam post on all of this picture, or the guy himself. I'll link both of those things down in the description below so you guys can check it out. But let's go ahead and get started with this. So first, we have basically the incubation center in its development stages, I guess you can see. But this is what it would look like underwater, basically. It pretty much looks the same in the surface, except a little bit more plain, and it looks like there's just a little bit more added to the surface. Basically, there's some railings that people can walk around in. But this picture, again, is in like its development stages. This was before this person pretty much posted all of his other pictures, which there's kind of a lot. So when we get to the next picture, you'll be able to see the actual incubation center in its full, which we'll just go to right now. So in this picture, you basically have multiple angles of what the incubation center would look like with and without water. And there's not a whole lot of differences except for the fact that, it's like basically slightly different in design. There's different colors. There's a few things added on like rails and pillars and stuff like that, because again, this has to be above water. And of course, there would usually be like a patch of trees like right before the incubation center where the dinosaur would be temporarily released before the main gates open, releasing it to the main enclosure. But instead of trees, of course, it's water, and this basically makes it possible for the monster to get out and get into the open enclosure. So basically the operations pretty much work the same as, the original incubator for the surface. So there's not too much of a difference here other than design and, where it would be placed. But that's pretty much it for this one. The next thing we have is the fencing. Now the fencing looks very plain, but it's a lot different than the one that we have on the surface. Now obviously the one on the surface is not only electrical, but it's more wires. And I mean, I guess if anything, this would be closest to the wall that we have on the surface. Don't really know, the concrete wall is what I'm trying to say. But this one is slightly different, mainly because I don't really know what it would be made out of. I don't know if this is concrete or some sort of metal, sheet metal or whatever. But basically, this would be the gates that divides the enclosures between, certain dinosaurs and the guests, obviously. And I'm saying dinosaurs, but I mean marine reptiles, because if I say dinosaurs, people are going to be upset, and I don't want people to be upset because I'm being inaccurate. Other than the fact that this wall is panel-like and doesn't really look all that similar to the one on the surface, that's pretty much it. It's a very plain design, but it works. It's like it would be efficient enough to at least work underwater, which as you can see, it shows right here. But of course, you're going to need to get into the enclosure sometime, so you need a gate, and there's the gate. I mean, yes, it looks a lot different than the one on the surface, but the overall design, it's pretty plain, so there's not much to it. It's darker than the fence, and that's pretty much it. One neat feature that these panel wall fence things would have are basically these openings right in the middle of the fence, where basically you could open them and build tubes there that the guests can walk through to get to one area to the other in the water. The tubes themselves are pretty cool, and they actually have like different designs, which I did not notice until now, and that attention to detail is actually really cool. Basically, you can make different types of tubes that, basically guests can walk through. which is good because that's basically a good way for guests to be able to view your dinosaurs. Sorry, marine reptiles, not dinosaurs, in your park had, if there was, an aquatic mode in the park, but there isn't, so don't get your hopes up. And one thing you can add at the end of this tube is this dome-like viewing gallery, which is really cool. Basically, this is what the equivalent of the viewing gallery would be underwater, and it's actually really cool. It's something I would have wanted for the surface of Jurassic World Evolution, basically something to view your dinosaurs, but you know, more modified than this, something smaller, something more convenient in size and space. That way it's not, you know, crowding your enclosure, something that you could place like right in the middle of your enclosure and have guests like view from there. But I don't know how that would work, because you know, it's getting the guests from the path to the middle of the enclosure in order to view the dinosaurs on here. I don't really know how that would work. I guess there would be like some sort of underground system. I don't really know. Bottom line is, it's cool. And cars can't swim underwater or over water, or bottom line is they sink. So basically, what do you use, you know, in substitution for a ranger team? You use submarines, which is basically what this guy thought of. And honestly, this looks really cool. It's just a little simple design, but still looks very, very cool and modern. And basically, the submarines would go through those little holes in the wall panels, and they could pretty much shoot darts out of there. I don't really know how that would work, because it's not like, I guess scuba divers can go into the somehow get out of the submarine and shoot the dinosaurs with a dart, but I'm pretty sure that's a good way to get eaten, so I don't think you should do that. I keep calling them dinosaurs, don't they? I just now noticed that. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to make a conscious effort to call them marine reptiles, but so far it's failed. Now in this picture, it looks like those wall panels can open up in different ways, because it looks like it can open up differently for when you're putting tubes in, rather than, you know, when a submarine's just trying to enter the enclosure. So that's just a nice little added detail, you know, different ways for some things to enter. So I'm not sure, because this is obviously not as big as those tubes, meaning there would be a different way that a submarine would enter, which I don't really think is relevant at all, and I don't know why I brought it up, but I just saw that and I thought it was a nice added little detail, so I just mentioned it. But this is awkward now. Let's go ahead and go into the this crappy transition to the next thing. Now, apparently there's not only submarines, but there's also boats, and they dock right here where this would be the ACU center, I'm assuming, because there is the helipad right there. But because I feel like the submarines, being the ranger team, I guess, would dart the dinosaur, I feel like the boats would be the one to transport them. I feel like the boats could just pull the dinosaur throughout the water from one enclosure to the next. But again, I don't really know how they would do that, mainly because if the fences reach all the way to the surface, then how are the boats going to be able to pass those fences and the dinosaur along with it? I think it's a good time to tell you that the guy who posted this also mentioned in his post that not everything he made would work out 100%. Again, this is not like made from Frontier, so it's not like it's going to be an actual thing. This was made from a fan, so the fan just kind of worked with what he had in order to see if it was even possible. And based on this guy's design, not everything here is very possible. There are some flaws to the concepts that he made, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing to work off of, but the problem is not everything is going to work out, which again, he 100% knows because he mentioned in his post. But that pretty much proves everybody that doubts an aquatic DLC right, in the sense that the game itself is just not built for it, which I guess I could kind of see now. This basically gave me a little bit of hope, but again, it's some of these flaws that are making me lose a little bit of hope in ever getting an aquatic DLC, which I think Frontier already confirmed that there isn't, so not really going to get my hopes up at this point, but it's really cool just to see these designs. The next thing we have is the arrival point. So basically, if there was a park, this would be the first official arrival point, or at least that's my guess, where basically you can continue it with one of these tube things, where again, basically it's like a way for people to get around your underwater park. And one thing I really wanted to point out was how much detail there kind of was in this. And yes, this is basically just the beginning process of what this would look like. And yet, I feel like there's just a lot of detail in it because it shows you where the guests would enter in order to get down to the tube and where you could connect the tube underwater. And honestly, I think it's really cool how they decided, how the person who made this decided to add stuff like that. And I really like it. But if this was the official rival point, then that means we wouldn't be able to also work on land, is what I'm assuming. But I could be very wrong about that. This could be an attachment, or this could already be built in, because certain things are already built in Jurassic World Evolution and some things are not. For example, one thing that's already built in is the arrival points, Every island has at least one beginning arrival point, and it's basically how you connect your park to everything. And if you don't connect your path to that arrival point, then nothing will work. And that's pretty much what makes your park work. The next thing we have here is, I want to say the ranger station is where these submarines would be. I can't really tell. You could kind of see a boat there in the corner, but it doesn't look like this is going to be another. It's obviously not going to be the ACU Center because we already saw what the ACU Center would be like. But we didn't really see a station for the Rangers, so it just makes me think that maybe this is where the Ranger team would come from. But again, I could be wrong. It looks like there is some sort of docking station, or just like a little parking station for the submarines. And I mean, yeah, that pretty much makes sense, seeing how, you know, the Ranger team does have a parking lot in the surface. So yeah, I think this is where they would be, or, you know, reside, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have to show you for today. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's more out there, because along with this post, I remember reading this being a part 1, along with, you know, all these sets of pictures. So I'm assuming, if that's the case, there's a part 2 out there somewhere with even more pictures. Now, I haven't found that yet, and I didn't really look because this is another kind of rushed video, so I really do apologize. I am kind of taking a trip this weekend, so I am trying to get this video out as quick as possible. So I'm just showing you what I got at hand right now. So, you know, I hope you guys just enjoyed that. But if there are more pictures that, you know, I haven't seen, because I'm not 100% sure if there are, or if they're even out yet. I haven't really looked. I'm really sorry. I should have done more research on this. But if you guys really want me to see them, go ahead and comment down below where I could find them, or, you know, put a link down there or something for me to see. But, you know, if there's enough pictures, chances are I'll probably make a follow-up video to this. And if there isn't, then I probably won't. I hope this is enough for you guys. But anyways, hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic World Evolution stuff and other cool dinosaur stuff I post on this channel. That's all I have to say for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please have a nice day.